because all of a sudden I hear a bullet, and I look up and I see he shot him in his head, and the kid fell, and you see the blood coming out and stuff. And these guys, they just carried on in the same conversation where they left, like nothing happened, and even they didn't mention shooting him. In that minute, I realized, oh, I'm in big trouble. Who are you? What are you doing here? And I said, even me, I don't know. Ali said to him, oh, these Burhan people. And he started cursing me. And he said, yeah, there is Quran just behind you. Start reading. We finish with him. We're coming to you. So get ready. Make your peace with your Lord. And the way he said it was very clear. He mean what he say. And he said, you afraid to die? And I said, no, but I've been raised as an orphan, and I don't want my kids to go through that. And I was thinking of my elder son.
For those who don't know you, can you introduce yourself? Where are you from? And what's your name?
My name is Yaslam Altayeb. I am from Sudan, born in the capital, Khartoum, and raised in Khartoum and in Durman, which is the third city in the capital of Sudan.
Can you tell us a bit more about your life before the war began? Your work, family, everyday routine. What was your life like?
I'm a businessman, and I used to travel a lot between the UK, Saudi Arabia, and Sudan until the year of 2018, where I've been asked to participate in the restructure of the main part of the transitional change in Sudan, which is started in 2018. Life was very well. I was doing very well here in the UK and in Saudi Arabia. I have some projects in Saudi Arabia with Saudi police. And I've been asked to mimic what we've been doing in Saudi Arabia and Sudan to help as soon as the change takes place in the economy of the country after the change. Life in Sudan in that time was hope and positive atmosphere in the air until COVID hit the whole world, it was a disaster for everybody. But in Sudan, hope was still there in the air. There was a struggle between the political parties and the military and RSF and foreign intervention until before the war, until the year 23, things were still at hand, but the foreign interference was pushing the country towards a place which was very worrying for me and for everybody. Was close to the circle where the decision is being made, and so it was very concerning. But in the same time, for the people, it was a hard time as well, because the economy was collapsing. A lot of the freedoms were being taken away, even though there was an uprising against the regime before it, seeking for more freedom, more stability, more prosperity. But we're being hit with very awkward or fluid state just before the war.
And now, maybe a deeper question. What did Sudan mean to you personally?
Yeah, Sudan means to me, my upbringing was a little bit different than many Sudanese people. I come from a very active family in the political arena and in culture. We have uncles who were singers, we have poets, footballers. I've been born in Umdurman, which is as I mentioned earlier, Sudan. The capital of Sudan is Khartoum. Is 3 cities: Umdurman and Khartoum North and Khartoum. And Umdurman is the national capital where most of the people, the Sudanese people, used to reside for centuries. My family was from that city, and it is still rich with the culture and the livelihood of Sudan. But I've been raised with my grandmother, with her husband, who used to work for the sugar factory company, and we traveled a lot in Sudan. So I moved in my childhood in the east of Sudan, then to the southeast, the Blue Nile, and to the center, and back to Khartoum in my university time. And that helped me to understand a lot of the diversity of the Sudanese people and the nature of Sudan and the difference between part to part. Sudan is a continent by itself. And in the university time, I used to be sent by my stepfather for some business deals in West Sudan, Kordofan, to Lubaid, Rahad, these cities. And I traveled to Egypt a lot in my childhood. So sometimes we used to travel by land. So we have to take the train all the way to the north. So my upbringing made me that to visit most of the country of Sudan. And because of the upbringing was in the factory company cities, which is being built specially, I mixed with a lot of different Sudanese people, different Sudanese cultures. People from Darfur, people from the east, people from the north, people from South Sudan. So it was very rich. So because of that, Sudan means a lot. My memories, my extended family, my parents, my childhood. So that's Sudan.
What was happening in the country, and what was life like for you?
2023, it was Ramadan, which is the fasting month. In that time, the situation in Sudan was seriously unstable. We started seeing that is the war is imminent, but we didn't expect it in Ramadan itself because it was in the last 10 days. We thought it's more or less a tactical move from the RSF to force the hand of the army, and they have anyway to back off in a way or another, because it's any war in that time, it means it will take the country into a place nobody wants, and nobody will win it. Everybody knows that in that time. So, in just before the war, because of the instability and so on, so I worked very hard in order to take everybody from my family outside the country, and I moved them to Egypt in case anything's happened. And I stayed behind, and I thought, okay, then when the Eid comes, I go and celebrate Eid with them.
What did you see on the streets? RSF movements, checkpoints? Was there any violence?
Yeah, just a couple of weeks before the war, RSF start. One of the contract before that, one of the contracts we were working on. I used to have a partnership with a Chinese company, and we used to do the development of the RSF military bases, which was taken over from the intelligence units. And I noticed just 2 weeks before the war, we're being called to assess one of the bases in the south of Khartoum. That is, the sewage is just blown up, and if we go and assess it and find a solution. I went there and I took a team, a professor from Khartoum University, because as far as we knew, that is, we needed real experts to resolve that issue. I took a professor and a group of engineers, and we went to the camp, and that was in Jabalolia camp. That military base was intended for training grounds, training and education, and to host around 400 people in that facilities. And what we found is around 5,000 people in there. So it's more than 10 times the capacity of the facilities, and it couldn't cope. In that time, we realized that this base is being used not for training bases, it is being used as a place where they keep extra soldiers. We were developing also the warehouses in the main base in Taiba, in our way back, which is Taiba camp in our way, and that is the main camp where the RSF use. And we were developing for them warehouses, barracks, and expanding the area. By the time we went there, we found the armored vehicles, the Emirati Hammers, which is in Sudan was new. It didn't exist in Sudan back then, but these Hammers were defending that place. We saw that is the amount of soldiers in that base is also crazy. It's in their thousands. And I visited that place also a couple of weeks before it. That number wasn't as much. And it was very clear that there is piling up of weapons and ammunitions, fuels, and gathering of soldiers into the capital. So it's very clear there is something happening. 3 days just before the war, or 4 days, we see that is the trucks entering the capital, carrying armored vehicles, PTRs, the personnel carrier in the back of trucks. In the middle of the day, convoys of fighting vehicles entering the capital. And in the same time, we see that is in the other side, the artillery, which is the army artillery coming from the north, entered also the capital. So it shows that there is a military buildup.
So coming back to it, can you tell us the exact moment that you turned around or realized that this is a war now?
I didn't expect it's a war 100%. We knew that it's not safe. The situation is very unstable, a lot of military movement. And I had a friend of mine who was invited to go and have a talk with Hameti and his brother and Al Burhan to calm things down. I think they gathered a group of Sudanese military, ex-military officers, leaders of the communities, religious leaders, and so on. And they went and spoke with them to try to calm things down. We used to gather in the evenings every day after iftar and so on. This friend of mine, he came and told me that he had the whole day they trying to have a talk with Hameti, which is took 2 hours, and he promised them that is nothing will happen. They went and spoke to his brother, which is the deputy leader of the RSF, and it took them 6 hours just to talk to him. And in the 6 hours is nothing other than this guy is fuming. And this friend of mine, he said to me, the last meeting was after at night. It was with Burhan, the president. And they were talking about Burhan. He promised that is, as a military point of view, they are not going to take any action. But they advised him that is from their experience and from what that Abdurrahim, the deputy leader, was saying, that war is imminent as far as they're concerned. He did come and mention that to me, and it was concerning. I had about 5 days just before I leave to join my family for Eid. But 2 days later, I had my iftar with my family, with my aunt. Just before the war, before 23, in November 22, I lost my mom. So what we left was our aunt in Khartoum. So every day in iftar, I go and have Ramadan iftar with her and with the rest of the family. I sat with her that day with my cousins, and before we go, I told them that was the Friday just before the war. I asked them not to leave. They need to stay together. I had just a feeling within me that something will go wrong. And I asked them not to go home, and all of you stay with my aunt at home. And the place I stay is not far from where she is. She's in Al Amarat area, and I live in Riyadh district, which is just the airport just between the two districts. But they insisted that no, everything is fine, we're going home. And so they went back to Umdurman. And I went to my residence. But in the atmosphere, you feel that is something wrong. Early in the morning until morning time in our area, everything was quiet. Even though I can see the army headquarters from the window, and I see the airport, which is the army headquarters is just in the corner of the airport. Everything was fine. But I went to sleep around 6 o'clock in the morning after I prayed the morning prayer. And I woke up 9 o'clock with a phone call from my brother from London asking me what's going on in Sudan. And I found it very strange in that minute that he called me so early in the morning. And for him, in that time, it's also around 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. So that's not normal that he calls. And I answered the phone call. Nothing. It's unstable, but we are fine. He said, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. And he told me, yeah, war started. So now we're fine. He said, yeah, no, there is a fighting. I hear there is a fighting in Sudan. So I stood up and I opened the window, and I see that the army headquarters, smoke coming up, and I hear the bombing and the gunshots, and it's proper war just outside. And I called him back and I said, yeah, here we go. War started. And that was the beginning of it. After I hung up with my brother, I went to the front of the flat where we have a large balcony. I live in the fourth floor of a villa with Chinese, the Chinese company underneath me, their team living just the 2 floors underneath me. That's when I noticed that is in the area in front of the villa is full with RSF vehicles, trucks and ammunitions in the back of the dump trucks, and some of the missile vehicles that carry multiple missiles in the back, just in front of the villa. Not a minute later, I see a fighter jet, very low, just in the top of the power lines. So you feel so close that actually, my feeling in that minute, if I can raise my hand forward, I can touch it. That is how it felt. That's so close. And it was just flying over them, playing around, twisting, going up, coming back again, and they were shooting on it. And you see the flares on the air and stuff. And all of a sudden, that pilot came back with, I believe it was a mate died or something like that. And he came back, and by the time he became so close, he just broke the sound barrier. And just like a huge explosion hit, and I see myself just flying on the air. And I was holding the phone with a camera, filming to my niece. She was in London. She just called me that minute, and I was saying, yeah, look at this pilot, what he's doing. It was like we are watching a live movie. And it's you see it in front of you, and at the same time, it doesn't make sense, and it's not real. So that's how it felt. But all of a sudden, I'm just flying in the air, and I'm falling back in the staircase about 3.5, 4 meters back. And that is when everything become real. That is, hey, this is serious. This is real war, like what we see on TV. And you hear the bombing and the anti-aircraft. When they shoot it, it's like a bomb by itself. It's not like a bullet. It's like a bomb. Each burst they release it was a nightmare. That was the 15th, 9 o'clock in the morning, 15th of April, 23. So we were trapped just behind the house is the beginning of the airport, and where the fight is. Next door, about 4 or 5 houses from me, is Abdurrahim's, the deputy leader house. And between us and the airport, there is their operation headquarters, the RSF. And in the other side of the airport, the army headquarters, and they're fighting there. From the other side, also from the airport, is the Dutch embassy, the British embassy, and all these embassies. But they already gone, and that area became a war zone. And our area is another war zone, the hotspot. So I'm literally sitting in the middle of where they actually moving to carry waves of attack on the army headquarters, because they fled their operation headquarters to our district, because they're hoping that is the army cannot fight them back in the residential area. So they are under our walls and my neighbors and into the entrances of the houses and so on. And some of them entered into some people's houses as a cover from the Air Force. And that put us in the middle, in the heart of the battle zone. And that minute, that was when I realized that's about it. I'm trapped. There is no way out other than to sit it down. Just to sit under the staircase or just inside, away from the bullets, and to wait it out until they calm down. And we hoping that it will stop, that they will come to their senses, say that's what's going on here, and people, they talk to each other and it stops. But they didn't. So we have to live it day by day.
What was the living situation like after the war started? Did you have food, water, electricity? How did the people get by day to day?
We weren't prepared, and I was alone, so I didn't have any supplies, any. I had one bag with leftover bread, which is dry. I was going to put it outside for the bird, and that's about it. And I have some sugar, coffee in the house, because I was going to my family anyway, and I used to go and eat with my aunt every day, so I didn't buy any supplies in the house. And I thought they are just a couple of days and then I'll travel, so no need. The Chinese, they do their shopping on Sundays, and the first or the third week in the month normally. So they already run out of their supplies. So the next week they were going to do their shopping, which is they do monthly. So we discovered that is actually we had nothing. There was water. The electricity in our area did not cut in that time immediately. We still have power. So that's it. We have water, electricity, but not really food. And yeah, bullets flying over. On the 15th, I had enough medicines for myself. I'm diabetic, so I have enough medicines just to last me about a week. And because I was leaving anyway. So I thought actually, yeah, dig it and just to keep hold until things settle down. Then we figure out. what we do. And the first day we passed it. Just we didn't think about food or these things because the fighting was intense on the 15th. So it was all about the fighting, and my phone didn't stop because people, they were concerned from London, my family, they call me, everybody, every hour, every minute. I'm getting a phone call, people asking, and they want to know what's going on. So we didn't worry about that day. The second day we had an issue. That's when we don't have we are fasting that Saturday, so we had, by the time for the iftar, I used that dry bread, just wet it, put some water on it, put it in the microwave so it became dry, put some sugar on it, and with a cup of coffee, and that was a good meal. The second day, which is we started talking about finding solution. No way, because the vehicles is just in the door, so no place to go. Third day is the same, but I don't have even the sugar anymore. So, but I'm lucky that I came downstairs to the reception, because the building, the back is flats for our residents, the front is the offices, so it's like two villas in one. I came down to the front bit. We have a young man who used to be, he cleans the offices and he guard it as well, so he's a cleaner and a guard. And I found him playing in the living room, in the reception of the offices, and I had a chat with him. And by the time I came downstairs, and I see the snipers in the building in front of me. It was a skeleton of 6 floors building. They're building it just as concrete, and I can see the snipers in the top of it, within the floors. And I was really concerned from those snipers, because I don't know what they will do. So when I come from the back section of the building, I walk very fast to enter the front bit. And I was chatting with this guy, young man, when I realized there is an onion in the reception sitting on the side. So I asked him, whose onion is that? And I remember saying to him, no idea. So it's in that building, it's me and him and the two Chinese. So I said, okay, it's mine. And I took it. We have a lemon tree. So I took a lemon, and that was my food for the next 2 days. Actually, I ate it on half of it is Wednesday, and the other half, I believe it will be still there, because I didn't make it to eat that second half the next day. So that was my meal.
So can you give us a bit of insight on what happened on the day of your capture? What were the events that led up to your capture?
The day of my capture was the 19th of April. That day was the day they broke a ceasefire for humanitarian reasons, for the people like me to leave the fighting area. Since the start of the war, I contacted the Dutch Foreign Office notifying them with the situation and the situation I am in. I actually contacted them a day or two before the war. That is what is happening in Sudan, and that is I'm leaving very soon for. But when the war started, they started contacting me twice a day or 3 times a day, and to ask about what is the situation, what's going on, did you manage to get food, did you so we were chatting, but I felt until my capture day, the person who was talking to me is they dealing with the situation like it's not real and is a job. Just make a phone call to ask what's going on. And I lashed on them on Wednesday or on the same day, I believe, my captivity. That is, the situation is not good. I'm in the hotspot, and they just say, "Yeah, can you make your way to the embassy?" I come on, I can make my way to the front of the house. It's so bad. It's not because I'm afraid, but that is bad. That's how bad it is. I wouldn't make 2 meters on the street without getting a bullet. And the lady who calls me every time, she didn't make sense of it until the day of the ceasefire. She called me in the morning, and that day I heard about the ceasefire. That is, there is a ceasefire for the people to leave and so on. So I decided to leave from that area to go to another aunt of mine. I knew she and her daughter there by their own, so at least I said, okay, I'll be with them for safety wise, for myself and for them. And anyway, it's better for everybody. And to leave that hot spot itself. And the minute I came from the flat upstairs, an intense fighting started. Even though they say it's a ceasefire, is heavy fighting. Heavy. They use all kind of weapons. And in that minute, the lady from the foreign office, she called me. And I was entering I ran and I entered the reception of the offices. And the sound from in front of the building echoing in that reception, double. So she's hearing it heavy, and she hears all kind of weapons firing. And she asked me what's going on. And I said, well, what do you mean what's going on? There's a war here. And she said, is that bullets? And he said, oh, these bombs. And I said, yeah. And that's what they've been telling you every day. That's what I'm living at. And how far are you from that fighting? I said, 3 meters, 4 meters. It's so close. I said, no way. I said, no, seriously. It's just the wall between me and that fighting. It's just a couple of walls. And she said, yeah, okay, we'll try. In that minute, she realized that is how dire the situation is. She said, okay, we're going to sort things out. We're going to call the Red Crescent or the Red Cross to come and pick you up and so on. And that was in the morning. In the afternoon, I start realizing that today I have no food, absolutely no food. Another thing happened in the morning is with that heavy fighting, they shot our water tanks in the roof. So that what wake me in the morning that I thought we're being hit by a bomb because of a big, loud explosion just in the top of me because I'm in the last floor, and that was, I believe, anti-aircraft. They fired it on a fighter jet, and it hit our wall and our roof, and it took out all the water tanks. So now that's very clear. Now we have no water. We already, since the day before, we ran out of food. Really nothing to eat. And I have no medicine. So I thought, yeah, now we're going to die either by hunger, thirst, or bullets. But we are dying anyway. I remember it was 3:30 in the afternoon. So I decided to go out. It had calmed down, the fighting. I decided to go out to speak to the RSF soldiers. I said, okay, if I go to them politely and like I'm no threat to them and stuff like that, at the end of the day, they're human. So, and we see my gray hair and stuff. They deal with me. And so I went there and said my hello to them and, hey, how are you? And they said, yeah, we good. They were shocked that somebody coming out of the house, talk to them. And I said, actually, look, I'm diabetic, and really in that time I feel tingling sensation in my fingers and my legs and stuff, which is clear indication that is I'm going low in sugar. So I said I'm diabetic and I need something sweet, and we're out of food. We have no food. So if you have dates, if you have sweets, anything. And they looked at me and they said, yeah, we would love to help, but we seriously, even us, we didn't have our food yet. We could have allowed you to eat with us, but us, that's second group. And that's when I realized that is they're sitting in a rows under the walls, and between every 10 meters, there is a pickup, Land Cruiser pickup with a big machine gun or anti-aircraft in the top of it. And I went to the second group. They said the same, but they said something else, that is, we have a supermarket down there. I said, yeah, we broke into that supermarket. It's open. You can go, take whatever you need, and you get us something to eat as well. I said, fine. I went back to the office, and I asked that guy, that young man, Odesser, if he can accompany me. Because I thought in that minute, if in case anything happened to me, if I collapse, faint, because I was concerned about diabetic coma or something like that. And I thought, okay, I'll take him with me. If in case also a flying bullet or a bullet falling down or something that hit me, at least somebody with me to notify my family or to save me. And we took him, walked down the road. By the time we reached the main street in front of the Saudi military attaché, which is next to us, a third group stopped us. Where are you going? We told them where we're going, and that is, we're getting food from that shop for us and for your mates around the corner. In the beginning, they weren't bothered with me, but they bothered with the guy who was with me, Mudassir. Mudassir from the Nigerian origin, Darfurian tribes. So for them, he's an interesting person. This is the people they like to kill. And for the last, since 2003 or before that, tens of years, they used to fight each other and they kill each other for fun. But how evil they are. So they just start arguing with him that he's a spy. No, he's a sniper. No, you are the intelligence officer. You're coming to spy on us. And they start giving him military directive to check if he's a soldier or not. So I vouch for him that, guys, he's not. He worked for me. And we work, we are an engineering company. We do this kind of work, and we actually contractors of RSF itself. And they didn't want to hear it. They just adamant this guy is a sniper. He just coming to spy on them. And I noticed that they were 14, 15 years old kids. One of them around 16 or 17, he is sitting under the wall. It's a long row of them sitting next to the walls, both sides of the road. He just stood up and he just came directly to me with a Kalashnikov in his hand. And he said, "No, just leave that. Leave him. Empty your pocket." I said, "Well, me?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, it's fine." I took out my phones and my passport in the other. He saw the European passport. And, "Why your passport is red?" "What is that?" I said, "Passport." He said, "Why is red?" I said, "Yeah." "Are you a diplomat?" I said, "No." "What is it then?" He said, "Yeah, it's a European passport." "Oh, so you're a spy." "No, I am not." You are not." They said, "Yeah, we'll take you to commander." And immediately a pickup came. I remember it's a Land Cruiser pickup with a big Toshka on the top of it, 2 in the back, a lieutenant, I believe, in front with a driver. He came and he didn't come out of the car. He's just sitting in the car. And he said, "What's going on?" And they told him. He took my passport, my phones. And he said, "Yeah, jump in the back." And I tried to reason with him. And he said, we want to get some food." I said, "No, you jump in the back." So I jumped into the back with the other guy. The pickup, the whole back of it is bullets. They emptied the bullets boxes in the back. So the whole bag is full to the edge. So I'm sitting in the top of the bullets. My trousers, all of it's full of holes underneath because of the bullets. It's so sharp. So we went into Abdurrahim's house. I was sitting in the back. The lieutenant, he took my passport and my phones, and he went in. All of a sudden, another car came bold next to us, the same type, and a high-ranked officer came out. And he came from there and just cursing me and insulting me and stuff like that. Out of the blue. I said nothing to him and just sitting, and he just cursing and stuff. And I have my bead, which is I use it for tasbih. It's like a necklace, long one. It's made of marbles. It's heavy like stones. And it was hanging out of my pocket. So he pulled it. And he said, yeah, you're carrying a bead like acting like a practicing good Muslim person. And you are evil, disgusting, this and that. And he started insulting me like, you're not Muslim, you're traitor. And I said, what did I do to you? What did I do? And he said, shut up. And he started whipping me with that beat he had in hand and punching me in the back of my head and stuff. And to be honest, I didn't feel it. I was in a shock that actually I didn't feel nothing. I was just looking at him like, what's wrong with you? And all of a sudden, that lieutenant, he came running from inside and screaming, no, 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 don't do that. Please, no, 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 calm down. And he just said to him, he said to him literally like this, is in Arabic, like, he's a VIP, don't do that. And that when the guy, he just start talking to him like, no, he's a dog, let me shoot him. And so, and he said, no, 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 just leave him be. So he came and tied my arm behind my back. They do it in a very, very bad way because they don't tie the arm like that. They tie it from here and to the back, which is make it very awkward. And he tied my hand behind my back, and again another one come running, and he said to me, sit proper. I was sitting very awkward because he's taking bullets, and my leg is sitting in a very awkward way. He said, no, sit upright. I said, I can't move. And one, number two, the way my arm behind my back, I can't move. And that is the second person who came out, and he said, who tied his hand behind his back? He brought a knife. I thought he was going to stab me, but he just cut the rope and he said, yeah, sit proper. And I sat on the edge. He said, are you comfortable? I said, yes, fine. Okay, take him. And that's where they took me to the operation headquarters they fled from when they entered with the soldiers into our district. And we went there, and I saw before us there is a convoy of cars full with people captured, and they just sat them on the ground. So they took the Mudassir from the car, sat him with his group, but I remained in the car, sitting in the top. That's when I saw the person in charge in that place carrying my phones and my passport in his hand. And he's walking around ordering the people, wearing my bead in his neck, which he still does. And when he ordered everybody, organized everybody on the ground, he came to me and he shouted, Yaslam, Sidia, come down. He came down. There is a man wearing Sudanese soap, the clothes, Sudanese clothes, white clothes, sitting on the ground, on the carpet. And he asked me to sit next to this doctor. I sat with him. It was iftar time, about almost 6 o'clock. So they brought some food for themselves, and they asked me and this doctor to come and eat with them. Until this time, nobody asked me what's going on or anything. I thought they will ask me some questions and then let us go, because I have nothing I'm not a soldier. I'm nothing with them or against them. So he asked, they started with the people sitting, and most of them, they let them go. Others, they kept them. I was adamant in that minute for when they interrogating these people that they let Mudassir go. If they let me go, it's fine. If they don't, at least he can bring the word out. That's where I am and what's happened to me. So then that is when I just whispered to him, Mudassir, you remember my phone number? He said, yeah. Okay, you remember. Just if you switch the last two numbers. He said, yeah. You mean your son number? I said, yeah. Call him in WhatsApp, in that number, and tell him what happened to me. Just let him know I've been captured and what I have. And let him know to tell the Foreign Office that what I am and what's happening to me. Only he said, yeah, but how? I said, don't worry, you will go. So a few minutes later, they start interrogating him and he intervened in his interrogation. That this guy worked for me. He's nobody. And he's just a cleaner. He used to work, also wash cars on the street. And funny enough, he used to wash their cars. So they recognized him. So they let him go. But I remain. Later, the commander of that area, his name is Ali Dakharo, he came to me and he started apparently the interrogation, and he asked me a couple of questions. Who are you? Why you are against us? And I said, I'm not against you. He said, yeah, but you're supporting the army. I said, yeah, aren't you? It's our national army. So, of course, we support it. And he said, no, we don't believe in the army, and we have to dismantle it, and we have to destroy them. They're cowards. And so I said, yeah, if you have an argument with your father at home, you don't grab a stick and start beating him up, are you? And he was furious from that remark. But anyway, he said to me, open this phone. Where are you going? And so on. I explained to him what was happening. The Foreign Office, they asked me to send them my live location, so to send me help to take me from there. And I did mention it to him. The minute I mentioned that he said, so your live location is still live? I said, yeah. On your phone? I said, yeah. This is your phones, shut them down. I'm not shut them down. So he took my phones and he just walked. And he said, you are staying. And I just went quiet. And he went. And that minute, you don't process what's going on. Is it temporary? Is it you being held for questioning? It's just you just freeze in thinking and in action, and that's what happened that day.
So what happened next? What were you doing? He was with you during your captivity. How did RSF treat you? And what did they say to you? What did they do to you?
I sat that night outside with this doctor. We didn't talk until late. After some hours, they asked us. I noticed that they don't use electricity. The whole place is dark, pitch black, and they cleaned. There were 4 rooms and a roof between these 4 rooms, and there used to be security for this compound. They cleaned one of these rooms. I see them that it was an office, so they cleaning it with some sofas. They moved the sofas on the sides and so on, and they put the mattress on the ground. And I can see that. So they asked me and the other guy to go inside. There was one bed next to the window. The other guy, we were the same age. So the other guy, he said, "You want the bed or the ground?" And I said, "Yeah, I prefer the ground because of my back. That's number one. Number two is I think it's not a good idea to lay next to the window because of the fighting. So a bullet comes in." He said, "Yeah, it's a bigger problem than the bullet through the window. So I'm going to use the bed." So he laid in the bed. Late at night, before I sleep, I couldn't sleep anyway, so I asked him, because still I feel that my hands and my legs are numb. I asked him, I hear that you're a doctor. Are you a medical doctor? He said, "No, I'm financial PhD holder." "Oh, now what?" I said, "What will happen?" "Just be quiet," he said. I didn't get what he meant was be quiet. It means be quiet, don't talk to me, or be quiet, don't talk to them, just be quiet. I didn't get it. So, but anyway, I decided to use be quiet, just to lay down. So I lay down until apparently passed out. Woke up next morning, he woke me up. He said, "Let's pray." It was morning time, and it's already Eid celebration. And so we stood up. We used some of the water to do our wudu. We prayed, and we sat down again. Then I'm a little bit woozy, so I passed again. Then around between dreaming and awake, I hear the word assassins, and so assassin team and stuff like that. And then I woke up straight away, and I was thinking in that minute, is that real or was a dream? Because I'm captive now, and my mind playing games with me and stuff like that, or did I hear it? And I hear a car pulled over next to the room area, and a lot of foot walking, and they don't walk, they just pull their legs like that. And the door opened, and I see the commander Ali Dakharo entered, with a bead on his neck, yellow shirt, tight shirt, and jogging trouser. He looked normal, and he came in, and 4 young men behind him. And that was a horrible scene, because these guys, they came, each one of them carrying machine guns, not Kalashnikov, longer version, bigger version, like snipers and stuff like that. And they carrying it like they carrying a stick on the neck, like that. And pistols on the side, like cowboys, and knives in their belts. Each one is wearing 2 knives. and with the jacket, the military jackets open, stuff like that. And when I looked at them, it was like butchers. And I realized that it wasn't a dream. I heard it. I heard the assassination team arrived. And they shouted and they brought the shackles, like in the movies, you know, the one which is they shackle the hands and the legs and the waist and the stuff like that with a belt. And they threw it on the ground. And I was laying on the ground with sitting on my elbow like this, looking at them. And they start shouting, Hatim, Hatim. And the other guy from the back said, yeah. And they said, yeah, come, you're this type. And I was just looking at them and just in that time you're just watching. You said like it's like a movie. You're just watching it. You don't feel it. You don't think. You don't. I stopped feeling the day before, so I just processing whatever I see. I just process, and they start shackling him, his hands, his legs, his waist, and they keep saying to him, "You should have spoken since yesterday. Now you will die," and this and that, and so. And they took him out. Then their commander, their leader, the group leader, not the one who stayed, to look back at me and he said, "Who are you?" And I said, "My name is Yaslam." And he said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Even me, I don't know." And he said, the Ali said to him, "Oh, these Burhan people, the army people." And he started cursing me. And he said, "Yeah, there is Quran just behind you. Start reading. We finish with him. We coming to you. So get ready. Make your peace with your Lord. Pray if you want. Read the Quran." And the way he said it was very clear. He mean what he say. And he walked down. He closed the door. And I hear them arguing this Hatim outside. And 3 minutes later, I hear the bullets. And I hear somebody falling. And yeah, that's it. They killed him. And me next. Yeah. When I start processing that and trying not to look because it's just on the corner of my window. I thought if I look and so they will remember me and they'll, yeah. So I sat there. That was the 8th day, 10 o'clock in the morning, around 10, 11 o'clock. So I sat there the whole day. Don't move. I wouldn't make a sound. I just went prayer time. I hear the azan. I go and pray. And I sit down. Until next day. Same. I thought they've forgotten me, which is good. But in the same time, there's no food. The whole day, second day, I found they gave us a bottle of Fanta and a 7-Up and 2 bottles of water. So I used my water, my 7-Up. And the next day I used Hatim's water and Fanta, what left of it. So to bump my sugar up. Second day, in the evening, after sunset, it come dark. The door opened. Ali came in and he shouted to me, Yaslam. I said, yeah. They said, did we feed you? I said, no. You telling me you didn't have food from yesterday? I said, no. Oh. I said, do you eat rice pudding? I said, yeah. We will eat everything that minute. I said, okay, we'll get you rice pudding. And he closed the door again and he nothing. So I stayed for the third day. He came again in the evening. That evening they killed somebody and beheaded him. And they brought the body. They kept the body and they brought it with me in the room and until the morning. So I had to sit in that room with that body in the corner and the head on the table by the door. So, but they had like a bag, wrapped it in the bag and they put it in the head on the door. Somebody they were very upset with. But anyway, I didn't hear the killing and I just know that they killed somebody outside and then they brought the body inside. Ali was in there, but when he came in the next morning, they took that body out, they put it in a car and they moved. But it stayed with me for the night. That next day, he came back to me and another guy, he came shouted to me if I want to wash my face and brush my teeth and stuff. He opened the door. During the day, the temperature in Sudan is so high, and the roof is a metal roof. So actually, I'm being cooked. So I'm so sweaty that I had a shirt with a short sleeve under the jumper I had on. I was laying with it. When I woke the third day in the morning, I was so sweating in a way that it was red. I thought I'd been hit at night. But apparently I was so sweaty that with the heat, that the red sheet color came out. And with the sweat and so it's mixed with the shirt that it became totally red. And he called me, and I remember that until now, that when he opened the door and he asked me to come out, he had to take 2 steps back. That means the smell was nasty in the room of the blood, of being there for days cooked. So, brush my teeth. I just cleaned my body with some water. And I came back to the room and I found that they cleaned the place from what remained of the blood and this kind of thing. So it was a little bit bearable. Then Ali came. It was dark. And he just called me. Yes, sir. Come. I thought now they're coming to kill me. And I came out. And he said, come. And we walked next to the other room by the wall. And I see 2 officers sitting there on the ground with food in front of them. And he said, sit down and eat. And I said, yeah, somebody you're going to kill. But why do you care if he go after he dies hungry or full? And he said, "You afraid to die?" And I said, "No, I'm not afraid. I'm literally," when he said, "Get ready to die," I was so convinced that I'm dying, that I have peace in myself, that I'm dead. I said, "No, I'm not. But I'm being raised as an orphan, and I don't want my kids to go through that." And yeah, and I was thinking of my elder son. The responsibility I would on him. That when they called me, they calmed me and they said, "Yeah, don't worry, you're not going to be killed." And we have orders to keep you, to look after you, as we're not going to put you with the other prisoners. And if they said we have to kill you, I will promise you, I will make it merciful. I will give you one bullet in your head so that you don't suffer. And if they said to release you, I will take you myself to your place safely. And if they said you stay here, it will be with us. So we're being ordered to look after you, but we have to keep you. And at time I didn't get it. Why? If you want to treat me good, other than the other prisoners, why are you keeping me then? Because I don't know. But we have order from Hemeti himself and some other people that keep you. Later I know that is some Emirati commanders. They want me to be kept. I think it's just for leverage to negotiate the passport. I believe so. And yeah, I couldn't eat because they had meat and pasta. But for 3 days I didn't eat. And I took a little bit from the pasta, and when I swallowed it, it hurts. It really hurts, so I stopped. He just gave me something to drink. I drank, and I just went in to sleep. The fourth day, they came and cleaned the room, really clean, and they told me that they getting some top generals, captives, to stay with me. And they put a lot of mattresses on the ground, buckets of water, and they brought ice for them. But I think later they decided to take them somewhere else. which is the general inspector of the army and some of the top army commanders who attacked at night before the war, the day before the war, which shows that the RSF were planning this before because they captured these officers the night before or early in the morning when they going to work. These officers, they didn't expect the war, so they've been captured on the road just before the fighting. In the afternoon, I noticed they brought young men. The day before also, there is something they done. There was a group of, in the outskirts of Khartoum, there is some refugee camps. You know, the illegal buildings and stuff like that. They gather and they sit there. They come from West Africa. Some of them, they're Ethiopian. Some of them, they are from South Sudan. And they, like, camps. And the government just let them. Some of them, the youth, they came in and they found fighting and people, they fled, and whoever fled. And so they broke into the kiosks and the small shops to steal the cigarettes and phone accessories and stuff like that. And the RSF captured them. So they piled up a big pile of phone accessories, cigarettes, drinks and stuff. And remember, they gathered the soldiers and they brought the hoses, the one underground for water, the black hoses. They cut it and they brought it, each one holding one, and they start beating them up. They beat them very hard. And one of them, after that, they're sitting next to the wall. I think one of them, for some reason, he just wanted to say something about, they just across the door from me, and I'm watching them. And there's two from the RSF, they were guarding them, and they were chatting to each other. I think they are from the same tribe, and they didn't see each other for a while, and they met, and they were talking about, I remember, about relatives and who did you see this person and that person happened. But there is one of these kids, it's keep moving. He want to talk to them about something. And they just keep saying to him, just turn, face the wall. And he doesn't listen. I think he want to go to the toilet or what. He just raises his hand and turns. No, turn, face your wall. I don't want to talk to you. They were black. So the second time or the third time, something like that. And all of a sudden, I think he moved because all of a sudden I hear a bullet. And I look up and I see he shot him in his head. And the kid fell, and you see the blood coming out and stuff, and to the distance. And these guys, they just carried on in the same conversation where they left about their relatives, what's happened to that person. This is like nothing happened. And even they didn't mention shooting him. And in that minute, I realized, I'm in big trouble. And yeah, then later one of the officers came and he started shouting at them, what is this? Why you do this? And clean it up. And they took him away. They cleaned the place up, washed it with water. And yeah, the day after, they brought another group with somebody look from well-off family, and they kept him outside. And later in the afternoon, he came. They doing interrogation and beating some people outside, I think. they asked him to go in the room to wait there. So he came and sat in the chair, and he asked me, "Can I stay with you?" I said, "Yes, fine. It's not like I inherited it. It's there like you." And he sat for a bit, and he was talking to me, and his name is Walid, and he was freaking out that he said he's a young man in the beginning of his 30s, and he said, yeah, he had a heart attack before, and he is concerned that he will get another heart attack. He's diabetic and got blood pressure in the beginning of 30s. He smoke a lot. He's newlywed as well, and he was telling me about that he took his family out, and he's coming back to take his wife and newly born child or something like that, and when they captured him. And he was good because he distracted me from myself. Now I got somebody to focus my attention to, that he's freaking out, so to calm him down, talk some senses to him, and that occupied me somewhat. That Ali Dakharu came. He saw that I was talking to him to calm him down and stuff. So he was listening behind the door, and then he opened the door and he said, "Yeah, I see that you have a company and you did well there, so you keep him with you, give you the company." So what did he say to me? Later we discovered that Walid being there was personal, because he used to argue a lot with Ali on Facebook. And when they captured him and they brought him, Ali recognized him straight away. Oh, that's Walid. Okay. And he kept him. And later he told him that, "What did you argue with me online and so and so?" He said, "Yeah, I know. I didn't want to bring it up. I thought he didn't know me." He said, "No, I knew since you came walking. I knew that's you." Because Ali was known, Walid wasn't. So he stayed there. A day later, every hour since I've been there, every hour they bring people. Some they beat up, some they torture, some they speak to. Then the 6th day, Walid came to me. I don't go out of the room, because sometimes they just come in a car and they just curse us, and I try to avoid any interaction with them. 6th day, or 7th day, Walid came to me and he said, "Yeah, come out. These officers, they got us some tea." And I said, "It's no good idea, Walid. Stay inside." And he said, "No, come out, because we need you." "Yeah, why?" And so I said, "Yeah, they brought some people and they are upset. Come and talk to them." "What do you mean, some people?" They said, "Yeah, new prisoners." And I went outside, and that's when I met, in front of the room I was kept in, Khalid Dangal and Khalid Zaid, whom they are still captives in Niala right now. I sat with them. They used to be RSF officers, but because they are from the north, they were concerned that it might not join them in the fight, which they wouldn't do. In precaution, they kept him. They kept them as prisoners. So they put them with me in the room. So it became 4 of us together for the next 2 weeks. For the next 10 days. And that's why we see the interrogations, the beating out, the tortures, and their meetings, who is coming, who is going, and because apparently we were kept in their intelligence offices. That is where most of their intelligence operations being carried out and discussed and stuff. And because of that, 4 of us, we knew that we are not coming out because of what we saw, because of what we heard. We are not kept with the rest of the prisoners. Yes, it was better than where the rest kept. But what we saw, what we heard, is guaranteed that we will never come out. And we started reminding each other about who your family is, what's their numbers, how you contact them. Each one to memorize other one family, their names, their phone numbers, so that whoever survive it, tell the others, their families. And I was the least one expected. I was adamant that I would never come out. I was more into Walid that will come out because she's really he didn't see as much as me, and every time Ali talked to me, he is insisting in front of everybody that he keep telling me that you are a submarine, you're a submarine, you're a submarine, and I don't get it. Then until Khalid he explained to me, he said submarine means that you're a spy. You're a spy being planted on them or stuff like that. And that is, I said, yeah, if he's believe that, then I'm done. How can I convince him I'm not? And he doesn't need to be convinced of nothing. They just do what they have in mind. They want to shoot you, they will shoot you straight away. Now, we stayed like this. Yeah, seeing people coming, people going, being beaten up, people being killed. They brought some women, and the last one they brought was even working for them. She volunteered to become a nurse. And they brought her because she photographed some of the injured people. That was stupid of her because she wanted to show in social media or something like that. I don't know why she done that, but anyway, she photographed some of the injured soldiers. So. And they brought her and they beat her up. And the whole night, it became late at night when they're convinced that she meant nothing and she's really genuinely was working for them. And then they decided to let her go, but it was late at night and it's a fighting area, so they have to take her with a car somewhere safe to let her go. He said, okay, you'll stay until the morning. So she stayed in the room next to us where they interrogate people. But she can't sleep because she is afraid that she will be attacked at night. So she's sitting just next to the door, watching the door, and just opposite me. And that around 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I see she's still sitting there and crying and looking really freaked out. That's how I went and had a chat with her that who she is, and that is, don't worry, nothing will happen to you. We are dead anyway. In that minute, she thought that until that minute that we were commanders or something. But I explained, oh no, we are captive like you. But anyway, we are dead anyway. So nobody will harm you if it comes to that. She's afraid to be raped. So we said, if that come to that, then we will defend you. And we're dying anyway, so we better die defending you than just being called out and shot. And anyway, she calmed down and until the morning when the sun rise, they let her go. 2 days later, that's when they start interrogating everybody, except me. They took Walid, they beat him up. First day, second day, they also took him. Some officers, they just come and interrogate for fun, just to beat people up. So they called Walid, and that second day he became very upset that he's being beaten by a belt. And then they called Khalid Dangal. And he came back also very upset, but he said nobody touched him. He got more an apology that they keeping him for safe, just to make sure that they are not going to go against them. Yeah, that's our daily thing when we were there.
Coming up to the end of the 2 weeks, how did you finally then get released after believing that you never would? And what condition were you in? Physically, emotionally? And what was the first thing you felt when you stepped outside again?
I start from the end of it. I was, from the day I entered until I got released, I was numb. So it's a weird state that I'm not afraid, I'm not concerned. It's more, it's like frozen on time, like I'm watching a film. It's not real. So I'm just processing in a state that is, I'm just processing, finding the solution, trying to figure out. Like I became emotionless. The day that they whipped Walid and took Khalid to interrogation, 20 minutes later or something around that time, Ali Dakharu came, opened the door, and he called me. And I thought, yeah, my turn. For today is my interrogation day. So he called me and we walked out. But we, in place of go next door to the interrogation room, he grabbed my hand like we are close friends. We walked to the other 2 rooms, which is opposite to the room where he stays. And he went, and straight away he mentioned to me, Yaslam, how did we treat you so far? And of course, it have to be one single answer. Good. Did anybody touch you, insult you? Of course, but I said no. And he said, But I said, he just whipped Wali just now. I said, who did that and stuff? And I said, yeah. But did anybody attack you? I said, no. And he was asking me, and he got the leather chairs, sofas and stuff. He was cleaning them with a towel from the dust and stuff. And he got a small fridge. I don't know where he get the electricity. He opened it. He took a bottle of water, cold bottle of water. And in that time, we used to drink from a barrel where you wash from it, you drink from it. It's a big barrel, metal barrel, better diesel one. And he grabbed this bottle of water and he put it in front of me and he said, sit down in the chair that he cleaned. And I said, there's something wrong here. What's going on? And he said, yeah. Another man, there is a man who's going to see you now. An old man came, very skinny, in the end of 50s, beginning of 60s. He just came, he shook my hand and sat the chair opposite me, and he said, I am the private secretary of Hameti. Oh. And he sent me personally to come to you so that we're releasing you now. You're going home. And we're handing you over to your embassy. And I said, yeah, but we don't have embassy. Embassy's gone a long time ago. He said, yeah, there's things going to be organized. Don't worry. There's organization. We are in touch with them. And we're releasing you. So Ali grabbed from under, on the corner of his bed. So under his cushion, he took my passport and my phones. He said, yeah, they being there, I didn't even keep them on the safe so that we don't mix them with other people's stuff. So here, your passport, check your phones, everything is fine. And immediately I just opened the phone and rang my family in the group chat. And I said, yeah, hey, here I am, I'm safe, I'm coming out. But I still have something wrong from the whole scenario that I know they wouldn't let me. So he made a phone call and he gave me the phone, and that was the legal advisor of the RSF. He apologized for what happened, and so then another phone call. That was the media and the private advisor of the RSF, is Izzat al-Mahiri. And then I spoke to Faris al-Noor, the media advisor. Faris al-Noor, which is also a British national. He apologized for my captivity and that he worked, he is overlooking the captives, but he said he campaigned, tried to help for my release and so on. Then I had a phone call from the Dutch Foreign Office, the Foreign Minister, which is the Deputy Prime Minister in that time. He called and they gave me the phone and he spoke to me, and that he said, yeah, you're coming home and there is a plane waiting for you in Umdurman. Until here, everything looked fine, but I had a weird feeling that something not makes sense. That's when my cousin and my brother said in the phone, don't leave them. And in the word, don't leave them, It means stay with them. Don't leave. That means there's something not right. And that's when Ali came to me and he said, yeah, because we can't take you all the way to where the plane is. We have to take you by the Nile. And we drop you in one side of the Nile, and the army is in the other side of the Nile. You have to walk across the bridge. And I said, no, that's not happening. I said, why? I said, yeah, because that is a front line. Snipers, both sides. And it's dark. Right now, it's 6, 7 o'clock at night. You want me to walk in that battle area where the snipers are? Whoever shoot me will accuse the other. And I'm not going to do that. And they said, okay, we'll just drop you first to your place. Gotta grab your stuff. By the time we organize for you the other car to come and take you to. And in that short time, my brother paid somebody a lot of money, actually, just to come and pick me up from my office and the place where I am staying. That short window actually saved my life. That by the time I got in the car, we left that district. In the middle of we crossed the Blue Nile Bridge. That is when we got a phone call from the Dutch Foreign Office saying, you're not going that direction. The plane is already left, but we have different plan for you. You're going to different direction, going south in place of north. And that is the second thing which is saved my life, because they were looking for me in that minute. So they will look in the wrong direction because they knew that I will be heading towards the north, towards Sunderman. But I ended up going south. And in the golf club, there I found the Americans' evacuation, the American embassy. And they were waiting for me, which is they took me all the way to Port Sudan by the Red Sea. And I knew from what they told me that I'm going to go with them to Port Sudan, and we getting American military ship to cross to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and from there I'll take a flight to London. We got to Port Sudan, and just entering the city, a minivan came and there were soldiers, and I saw that this soldier, very heavy built soldier sitting in the minivan, white soldiers. I said, okay, that is the American Marines, because we are going into American ship to cross to Jeddah. And in that minute, I called my daughter in London, and I was talking to her that is, yeah, I'm coming. And she said, I said to her, now I'm just looking now through the window to the Marines, the American Marines. And she was laughing, and she said, yeah, I never seen a Marines. Can you take a picture of them? So I came off the bus, and I came to the soldier. I said, can I take a picture with you? My daughter never seen a Marines, and she want to see if I can take a selfie with the Marines. And the guy is straight away, he just like offended, backed off, and I looked at me and said, who is the Marines? No, we're not Marines. And I found it strange that why he's like a Marines is something bad or something. I said, no, come on, we are the British Army. We'll say so proud and stuff. And we're the British Army, we are not Marines. I said, is it? I'm going to London anyway. I said, you're going to London? What are you doing with Americans? I said, yeah. My family there, I'm just being evacuated with them. So what's your name? And I told him my name. So I said, and straight away, he didn't look at me, and so he just started screaming, Sarge, Sarge, I found him. And the guy with the minivan came on the stop, and he said, hi, who are you? And I said, yeah, my name is Yaslam Altayeb. Oh, yeah, being looking for you. Jump in. You're not, you don't belong here. And I jumped into the van and grab your stuff. I said, yeah, that's myself. And straight away, and they took me to Coral Hotel. And we went to some senior officer, I think, standing, telling people off and stuff, wearing stars here. And we said, yeah, sir, we found him. That's him. And that's when he said, yeah, we're being ordered to look for you, and because you're being evacuated with us, not with Americans. And yeah, then that's when they done a full medical check on me, and put me in. They said, yeah, there's 2 planes leaving to Laranca, military planes, and from there you'll fly to Birmingham. But we have to take you in the second one because there is medical team in the second one, and there is concern about your health and stuff. So we are not going to put you in the first plane. And yeah, there is a lot of. I didn't know until that minute that there is media campaign and that is governments being talking about me and stuff like that, and that's like I just shocked in that minute. That is, yeah, they knew exactly who am I, and yeah, and that's happened. They took me to the Laranca, where I stayed overnight in a hotel. And then we took a plane from Laranca to Birmingham. And I remember when we landed in Birmingham, that is when the whole time that I was, numb, it's just like being lifted off of me. And I started all of a sudden feeling what was just happened. And so when the plane was just landed and just before touching the ground, I just burst into tears and I started just crying and I was sitting in the middle of 2 army medical team, and I guess I remember they just tapping on my shoulders and say, yeah, it's okay, you're safe now. And that's when I came out and found my son and my brother standing outside. That's my journey with RSF.
How has the captivity changed you?
It's the fact that when you are certain with certainly death in front of you, and you realize that you are dead, that is 100% you'll never be the same again, the same person just before it. Another thing is the people I left behind, Khalid Dongala, Khalid Zaid, and these people, their families are is in a way you can't explain. They become a part of you. That you day and night the whole experience you're being through, the pain you're being through, and so it's just resemble these people. You believe, or I believe, and I feel that by saving them at least, that I saved a part of me which is affected by this. And that's why I've been campaigning. For me, the war, I see it not just in the millions of people affected with it, or the hundreds of thousands lost their lives, or the people who are still captives. If I focus only on these two, that it means at least that I done some positive impact. And with them, it feels like you left part of my soul behind with them. For that reason, I got active in creating the media platform just to campaign for them, to bring the information about what's happening in Sudan, but also in the same time, Sawait, helping hands, just to generate a sort of help and awareness about the struggle that the Sudanese people were going through. It sharpened my focus on the pain of the people, the captives, the human rights people that I came to know after that, who actually been campaigning for a while, and for either Sudan or Gaza, even in the Emirates or in Saudi Arabia or wherever, that human rights violation happening. It helped me to view the world differently, but to feel also the pain of other people. The way that you understand the struggle of the other people, it become different because you feel it straight away. You being there, you seen it physically. And there is a say that is whoever seen is not like the one who heard about it. And I hope from that we come to something positive to help the people who left behind and to help the rest of the Sudanese people and other people in need as well. That's why I started Helping Hands, and this platform, The Right Narrative, to bring the truth out.